This is gonna blow your mind. Ethiopia, a nation at a crossroads, crisis or opportunity? Let's break it down. Ethiopia, a land of ancient history and vibrant cultures, is facing a pivotal moment. The choices made today will shape its future for generations to come. Ethiopia's political landscape is a tightrope walk. The government is constantly balancing the interests of various ethnic groups and political factions, each with its own vision for the country's future. Ethnic federalism, meant to empower diverse groups, was designed to give each ethnic group a degree of autonomy and representation. However, this system has also created silos, where ethnic identity often takes precedence over national unity. Often fuels competition and risks fragmenting national unity. The struggle for resources and political power can lead to tensions and conflicts, making it difficult to maintain a cohesive national identity. The Tigray conflict from 2020 to 2022 left deep scars, not just in the region but across the entire nation. The humanitarian crisis that ensued has displaced millions and strained the country's resources, with peace remaining fragile and challenges like disarmament and reintegration unresolved. The path to lasting peace requires addressing the root causes of the conflict and ensuring that all parties feel heard and respected. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed's centralizing reforms sparked backlash, as his efforts to strengthen the central government were seen by some as a threat to their autonomy and rights, leading to clashes, particularly with Amhara factions. The Amhara region, with its own historical grievances and ambitions, has been a hotspot for resistance against centralization. Meanwhile, crackdowns on dissent and media freedom have raised alarms. Journalists and activists face increasing pressure, making it difficult for independent voices to be heard, undermine democratic legitimacy, inching closer to authoritarian tendencies. The international community watches closely, concerned about the erosion of democratic principles. Interethnic violence, especially between Amhara and Oromo communities, exacerbates systemic fragility. These conflicts are often rooted in historical grievances and competition for resources. Over 4 million people remain internally displaced, living in camps and makeshift shelters. The displacement crisis has put immense pressure on humanitarian organizations and the government, struggling with the humanitarian crisis while high youth unemployment fuels unrest and armed group recruitment. The lack of economic opportunities for the youth is a ticking time bomb, threatening to destabilize the country further. On the economic front, Ethiopia's rapid GDP growth contrasts sharply with persistent poverty and a whopping 25% inflation rate. While cities like Addis Ababa are booming, rural areas lag behind, creating a stark urban-rural divide. With persistent poverty and a whopping 25% inflation rate, the rising cost of living is making it difficult for ordinary Ethiopians to make ends meet, leading to widespread discontent. The Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam holds promise for development, potentially transforming Ethiopia into a regional power by providing much-needed electricity and boosting the economy, but risks igniting regional conflicts over water resources. The dam has been a point of contention with downstream countries like Egypt and Sudan, who fear it will reduce their share of Nile waters. Climate change is a looming threat, with its impacts being felt across the country. Unpredictable weather patterns and extreme events are becoming more common, with recurrent droughts like the 2022 Horn of Africa crisis, devastating agriculture and livelihoods. Farmers are struggling to adapt and food insecurity is on the rise, jeopardizing agriculture and worsening food insecurity. The agricultural sector, which employs a large portion of the population, is particularly vulnerable to climate shocks. Regionally, Ethiopia's role in mediating conflicts is vital. The country has historically been a key player in the Horn of Africa, often stepping in to broker peace deals and resolve disputes. Yet relations with Eritrea remain tense. The border conflict, though officially resolved, still simmers beneath the surface, with occasional flare-ups. Global players like the US, EU, and China balance aid with strategic interests, influencing Ethiopia's geopolitical landscape. Their involvement brings both opportunities and challenges, as Ethiopia navigates its alliances and dependencies. An optimistic scenario sees inclusive dialogue and equitable growth stabilizing the nation. Grassroots movements and community dialogues are essential in bridging divides and fostering a sense of shared purpose. Conversely, unchecked ethnic conflicts and economic strains could lead to state fragmentation and authoritarianism. The stakes are high, and the path forward is fraught with challenges. Could lead to state fragmentation and authoritarianism. The international community's role in supporting democratic institutions and human rights will be crucial in this regard. Ethiopia's future hinges on balanced policies addressing unity, equity, and reconciliation. The government must find ways to integrate diverse voices and ensure that development benefits all citizens. Stay tuned as Ethiopia navigates its complex journey. The road ahead is uncertain, but with resilience and determination, Ethiopia can overcome its challenges and emerge stronger. Crisis or opportunity, only time will tell. The world watches as Ethiopia stands at this critical juncture, hopeful for a future of peace and prosperity.